When I think of summer, I think of the beach. I've got 10 coastal DIYs for you today. For nautical rope, a bunch of different scrapbook papers, and this old shelf that I just had laying around and wasn't using. And the first thing that I'm going to do is sand it down so that I can paint it and the paint will stick. And I'm just using my little sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. Then I'm going to wipe off all the dust with a cloth. Then I picked all of these cute little coastal themed pieces of scrapbook paper, and now I'm just going to cut them down to little strips that will fit on my board. And I'm going to be making a sign with these, and I use my little cutter to do that. And now I'm just figuring out my pattern that I want to do, and then I'm going to Mod Podge them all down to this board. And I'm going to just start from one end, work towards the middle, and then go on the other end and work back towards the middle. That way I establish the pattern that I did, and I can make sure that everything is even. And I'm using my little brayer to flatten it out and get rid of bubbles. And I have all of my tools like the brayer and other things down in my Amazon store if you need something like that. Feel free to check that out. It does help my channel and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And thanks in advance if you do that. And like I said, I am just going ahead and arranging these with Mod Podge, and I'm loving this paper. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It was like a coastal themed little mini book. It is just gorgeous. And then I overlap those little striped ones right in the middle because I just love them. Now that it's all on, I'm just making sure I get all the bubbles out, and I'm going to sand all of the edges going all the way around because sometimes you get a little hangover of the paper, and this gives it a nice clean edge, and it kind of makes it look like it's part of the board. And then I'm going to clean up all the dust from the sanding with my little ladybug vacuum. It's just a lifesaver. I'm using my white primer Kills paint to paint all around the edges because some of them were unfinished. And this way, it just gives it, again, more of that coastal look, kind of distresses the edges a little bit. I'm going to dry it off with my heat tool so that I can move forward more quickly. I'm not the most patient person, so I don't like to wait. Now I'm going to get out a pencil, and after I open up my nautical rope, and I'm going to write out the word beach going vertically down my sign. And that way I know exactly where to put my rope. I'm going to put some Mod Podge over the top just to make sure that everything is sealed and the paper doesn't come off. And once that is dry, then I'm going to start cutting my rope to cover the letters that I drew out. I'm actually going to do all the straight pieces first. So it looks like I'm doing this in a weird order, but I just thought it'd be easier to get all the straight pieces on there, and I'm hot gluing them right to the sign. And then I will come back in and do the curved pieces. And I'm loving how this is turning out. It was actually super easy. Honestly, it looks like it would be kind of hard to do, but it's really not. I thought it would take longer than it did. It was super fast, and actually it's kind of fun. I enjoyed doing it. And now that I got to the B, that's the last letter. And I was looking at this thinking, it's almost a little dark, and I wanted it to look like maybe the sand was hitting it, you know, so it would look a little worn. So I took a white Arteza paint marker and I just lightly brushed over the top of every letter, and that gave it that really beachy kind of coastal look that I was going for. And I love it because think about it, there's always sand in the air and everything gets misted with it, and this kind of gave it that feel. So it's super, super cute. On the back of the sign, there were these little holes from where the shelf was. So what I did was I cut some more nautical rope and I hot glued it down into those little grooves where the holes are. And once I did that, I took 2 screws, and I thought this is a very heavy shelf, so I couldn't just put it on with glue. And I used my drill and I screwed in a screw on each side and made it really secure, and that's it. I absolutely love how this turned out, and honestly, it was super easy. Let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you like it. Tray that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's so cute just the way it is, but I did decide that I wanted to do something different to it using my Kills white primer paint. Honestly, it took like 3.5 coats to cover. I added a little piece of rope on the back and I hot glued it down and put some masking tape over that and hot glued it down. And that's my little hanger. I wanted to do that before I finish working on the front. Now I've got these stickers from the Dollar Tree, and what I'm going to do is make a cute little design on here. I'm going to tape the center off because I don't want any paint that I'm going to use to go on there. So I'm using the Ocean and Crystal from Waverly. I'm just going to blend them together to make a really cool looking blue with a little white wash kind of, or crystal wash I should say, on it for the surfboard. And I just love the effect. It just looks so cool. Very beachy. And then of course, removing the tape, the satisfying part, which I did get a little bleed, so I'm using my white paint and I'm just going to touch that up real quick. I probably should have painted white on the edges first and then done the blue, but you know what? Live and learn. Now I'm going to figure out the positioning because I'm going to use two different kinds of stickers. So this first set, I'm going to put the word life, and then I'm going to use a different set of stickers and put the word salt. Cute little saying, salt life. Of course, very coastal, very beachy, and you guys, I'm absolutely loving it. It was so easy, and I'm going to cover that with Mod Podge to make sure my stickers don't go anywhere. And that's it. This one is done. I mean, come on, you guys. How easy is that? I love it, and I hope you guys like it. The way this one looks. I'm just kind of cleaning it off with a little bit of alcohol, and then I have this burlap that I got at Walmart, and I'm going to measure out a piece that will fit all the way around, and then I'm going to cut both sides because I don't want those edges. I want to be able to fray it, and I have to cut off the edges to do that. And it was also a little bit too thick for this jar. I've also got these seashells I got at the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to take this burlap and I'm going to pull those strands so that it looks very frayed on both sides, and then I'm going to wrap it around my jar, and I'm going to hot glue it to the jar and to itself. That way it'll stay in place. And I just love that look. It's so cute. It looks very beachy. And then after I secure that onto the jar, I'm going to take this ribbon that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And it's perfect for a coastal. I'm just going to cut a piece, wrap it around, and hot glue it to the burlap. And that'll just be a nice little embellishment to give it even more of a coastal flair and give it the colors that I want that go in our bedroom, which is a coastal themed decor. Next, I'm going to take my seashells and I'm actually going to put them all inside of the jar because you can see through it a little bit on the bottom and on the top. But I am going to take one and I'm going to hot glue it right to the front of the jar and right in the center of the ribbon. It's so cute, you guys. I just love that little extra touch. I think it's so fun. Next, I'm going to take some white nautical rope. It was 3-stranded and I took it down to 1, and I'm just going to wrap it around the threads of the jar because I'm not going to use the lid and I want to cover that up, and I think that adds to the whole coastal vibe. And then I've got these, you know, from the foam brushes, I always save the little sticks, and I'm going to use some warm buff paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm going to paint them. And then I'm going to take some antique wax by Waverly and distress them, and I want them to kind of look like driftwood. That's what I'm going for anyway. Once I finish that, they will go inside of the jar along with some really pretty dried flowers that my friend Jenny from Loving Moments Creating gave me. And I think they just look so beachy, so cute, and I really hope you guys like it. I absolutely love this one. For a calendar video. I've got this piece that has these little clips on it that I got years and years ago. It's kind of like a distressed wood already. And I just unscrewed the little clips and took them off. And you see that picture where it says beach. That is a piece from a calendar that I got at Dollar Tree, but I can't remember which calendar. It's one of the ones we don't usually get with just scenery and stuff. And I'm just going to use it for inspiration. I'm going to take a pencil, and while looking at it, I'm going to try to write the word beach just like they did it. I had to put my arrow off to the right because it wouldn't have fit. Anyway, I'm just going to try to recreate that sign in a way and use the calendar for inspiration. So you can do all kinds of things with the calendars. You can cut them up, use them, or you can use them for inspiration, and that's what I'm doing here. I got this little Dremel thing. It's really for your nails, like if you had acrylic nails, but I'm going to use it to kind of cut out around the edges of the letters and the arrow, and I kind of think it's cool. I like the way it works, and so it's a good way for me to try it out and just see what it would do on things other than nails, because I don't use them very much on my nails. So there it is. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I'm going to combine several paint colors to come up with a color that I really like. So it actually doesn't matter which colors I use. They're all like apple barrel or folk art paint colors that I use. And I'm trying to come up with this sort of like dusty blue, if you will. I'm just taking colors that remind me of the beach. So different blues for the water, tan for the sand, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And then I'm just going to kind of stipple it in there with a little brush. It's very rough wood, so you can't just brush because it would just like sit over the edges. It wouldn't really go. So you have to stipple it in. And I absolutely love how this is turning out. It's actually a very easy and relaxing craft to do. Now, after I got these on, I noticed that I bled into those little areas that I had used the Dremel for. So I'm going to dry this off with my heat tool from Amazon, and then I'm going to go back in with the Dremel and just outline the letters again and get rid of some of that paint that went over the edge. And look how nice that came out. I love it. And I've just never seen anything quite like it. So, I'm not saying it's not out there, but I just haven't seen it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to use that Happiness is Homemade transfer in that one set. I've got this cute little, I don't know, kind of a jar, if you will. And I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol just to make sure the glass is nice and clean before I set that rub-on transfer right on there. And then I will go ahead and rub it on with my little wooden stick that I have. That came with another transfer set that I ordered online a while back, and I really like using it for this because it's not too sharp. Anyway, I thought it matched really nice with the color of that lid. This was like a P.F. Chang's, I think, orange sauce jar or something. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off, and it all adhered very well. I'm just going to burnish it on there. 'Cause I'm afraid that I'll end up here alone. Now on the lid, you could see like the price or the whatever they stamp on there. So I used some rubbing alcohol and I got some of it off, but not quite all of it. So then I put some on, let it soak, rubbed it off, still left it on there. So then I took a little scraper tool and I scraped it off, but then that kind of made the lid look funny. So then I painted it with some rose gold paint, and now it sort of looks like a button. Anyway, I ended up doing something different, you'll see. I've got this really cool white and natural twine colored coastal twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue the first little end of it and wrap it all the way around up to the lid of this glass jar. Understand how much I need you. Take me back to when we were kids and didn't care if we were acting stupid. When I get to the top, I'm just going to cut it off and then add a little bit of hot glue to secure that end piece. And that just works out really well. I love the way this looks. It's such cool looking twine. And then I decided to cover up what I tried to do to fix the top of the lid by doing kind of a swirl design with that same twine around and around, and just hot gluing it till it gets to kind of that taller edge. Now I'm going to get these white and kind of turquoise colored rocks from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to pour some of each in there. And I'm turning this into a little bit of a coastal piece. Perfect for summer. And then I've got these seashells. Only one of them would fit right in the hole, so I put it in there. But then I took my tin snips from Amazon. That's such a great tool. I don't know how else I would have done this. And just snapped the shells in half, and I put a couple of them in there just to get some seashells in there. Then I've got some of these little wood branch slices, and I put a couple in there just to make it look like driftwood. And then I've got a piece of greenery that is really cheap, but it looks like it's in the water, so I put it in there, and that's it. What do you think about this one? I love how it turned out. Has these blue flowers, leaves, and there's actually some white ones that are tall, and I don't know why I have it at this angle. That was a mistake. Anyway, I'm just going to take everything out of the bowl. Those are the lighter ones that I took out. And then I'm going to also remove that floral foam. And it was really put in there very hodgepodgey, I guess. So it was kind of hard to get it all out, which I finally did. And then I took the bowl and washed it. And now I'm going to clean it off with some alcohol too, just to make sure, it did come from a thrift shop. Now I'm going to use all this Waverly paint, crystal, ocean, and plaster. I do end up adding tulle as well. This is an inspiration from my friend Leonette from DIY Beauty on Purpose. She made this bowl, which I will link down below, and she made it look like the feeling of the ocean, and I love that idea, and I thought this was the perfect bowl. So I'm just taking each color with kind of a chippy brush and just randomly putting it on, not covering, just kind of wherever, leaving spaces. So I'm using the darker one first, which is gorgeous. I think that was the ocean. And then I'm going to take the plaster and I'm just going to randomly paint, and you can already see like foam, water, waves, you know, it's just there. There's like a movement in it. I absolutely love this so much. And I got to tell you, it was kind of relaxing to do. You just don't want to get heavy-handed. You can always go back over and add more, but I just kept adding. And then I went in and I added the next color, which was the crystal. And then eventually I decided I think it needs a little bit more light, but I didn't want to do more plaster. So that's when I decided to add in the pool color by Waverly. These colors are gorgeous. I love them so much. And it kind of just blended in places, and it subdued the deeper blue. Oh gosh, you guys, it's so pretty. I didn't do the very bottom. I don't know, because there's no reason to, and I didn't want to have to deal with that. So now I'm just kind of touching up wherever I think it needs a little more. And I'm going to use the ink color, which is basically black from Waverly. I'm going to paint the entire inside. That way you won't see those little pieces that wouldn't come off of that foam. I'm going to take a clear coat by Krylon, and I took it outside and I painted inside and out to seal it. And now I'm taking these flowers because they're light and springy, and I'm not going to use foam. I'm just going to bend them. I'm going to snip them off of the stems, and then I'm going to bend them and just kind of position them, you know, just any way I like. You can do this however you want to do it. And I'm just going to have them draping over the side. And you guys, I love this one. You can change out the flowers. It's so pretty, and I definitely feel the ocean. You'll have to let me know what you think. And thank you, Leonette, for the inspiration. This is one of my favorite pieces. It was so easy to do. You could take any bowl or vase and do something like this. Anyway, I just love it, and I really hope you do too. Napkins I got at Hobby Lobby, and so I'm going to go ahead and cover up the center again, and I'm going to take my napkin out, and it's a 3-ply napkin, so you've got to remove 2 of the pieces and just leave the very front. It's harder to do, but it's possible. So anyway, there was 1, there's 2, and now I'm only going to use the top piece. It will not work right if you do all of them or some of them. Anyway, I'm trying to flatten out the folds just a little bit. I'm going to use my Kills primer, and I'll apply it with a little foam brush that I got on Amazon. It's a great deal. The reason I'm using the white primer is because the paper is pretty thin in the napkin, and in case you see through it, I want you to see white and not the color that the mirror was. Once I get that completely covered, I'm going to take my napkin and I'm going to position it, and I like to do this in sections. I'm going to use some Mod Podge. I'm just going to apply some with a brush, and then I will lay down that little side, and I'm going to smooth it out with my fingers. Because this is like different textures and heights, I won't be able to use a brayer. I could use saran wrap, but it was dry enough. I didn't overload the Mod Podge, which is really important. You don't want to put like an excessive amount, or else your fingers will get wet as you do it, and then you'll start pulling up the napkin. So it's just really important to keep your fingers dry and just use the least amount of Mod Podge that you need for it to stick. And believe me, with this one little ply of the napkin, it doesn't need a whole lot. So I'm just going around the whole thing, and then when I got to like the end there, I realized one little corner wasn't covered. So I just tore off a piece, and it's a busy enough pattern that you won't even notice. So that worked out really nice. I didn't have to match it up. And now I'm just going to add more of the Mod Podge once I'm done touching it. And that way when it dries, I can just pull off the edges like so. And it makes it so nice. You just kind of rip them off. And I'm using the brush to help me by keeping that wet, and it really does make it go nice. And then I can lay it down with the wet brush so there's nothing sticking up. You know, the possibilities with this are endless. You could use so many different beautiful napkins, you know, that would fit your decor. I love that about it. Now it's time to get that middle piece out. I'm just going to use a little blade, like an X-Acto knife, very carefully, and just gently go around using my finger to guide me, and then I'll be able to go back in with that little art brush and a little bit of Mod Podge and kind of clean that up. So that came out really nice. And then I've got this white twine. I believe I got it at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use hot glue. And I'm going to go around 3 times in the center, and that way it covers up anything that was just kind of left sloppy. And then I will also, of course, clean the mirror, just using alcohol to do that. I'm going to take Waverly chalk paint in the color Agave, which is gorgeous, and I'm just going to paint the edges, and that kind of cleans up if there was any excess napkin or anything. And I just thought that was a perfect touch, and it matched one of the colors in the napkin. So I've got two ribbons, this gorgeous blue and then this very sheer iridescent one. I'm going to use a little bit of dots of hot glue to attach them together, and it's so weird, it ends up looking almost like denim when I'm done. But I'm just going to do a little crisscross, and I'm going to attach it to the back. All these mirrors have hangers already. There's little hangers built into them, but this one I thought was so pretty with the ribbon that matched. So that's why I did it. It wasn't necessary, it was just more aesthetic, but I also, I'm securing it really good with extra ribbon and hot glue, so it can be used as an actual hanger. I really love this one. It's going to go in my bedroom, which is a coastal theme. I hope you like it. And some cardboard that's meant to go in the back of some shelves I got, but I didn't use it for that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand draw just a basic fish shape, and then I'm going to use my blade and cut it out, and then I'm going to continue and put it over the top of more of this cardboard and cut several of them. I'm going to be making this really cool fish wall decor. It's super fun. I saw this on wayfair.com and it was $67. Isn't that crazy? Theirs was made out of metal, so that's probably part of the reason it was so expensive. After I cut all of these fish shapes out, I'm also going to take some of them and draw a line in the inside and cut out like the center. You'll see here in just a second. I'm just going to make like an outline of a fish on some of them. It will be easier when you see it than for me to explain it. So here I go drawing that right now. And once I draw that outline, I'm going to take my blade and I'm just going to cut out that center piece. And that way I have like a thin outline of a fish to go along with the whole fish. And it's just going to make for a super interesting piece. Now to decorate each of the fish, I'm going to use different things. So I'm going to take this 3-strand white nautical rope and just pull off one of them. And I'm going to put that over one of the whole fish and just going to hot glue that down. And it looks really cool. Definitely very coastal feel. For the next fish, I'm going to use this gorgeous napkin, and I'm just going to decoupage that right onto the surface, just like I would any kind of decoupage. Now this is a 3-ply napkin, so you have to remember to take off 2 pieces before you use it, otherwise it will not work. I've tried it or done it by mistake before, and not fun. So once I get all of the pieces apart, I'm just going to put Mod Podge down on the fish. I'm going to then put the napkin over the top, and once it's dry, I'm going to carefully rip the edges off, and then I'm going to sand around the edges as well to make sure that there are no little loose pieces. Because the napkin's so thin and I don't want to rip anything, I'm going to put a little saran wrap over the top and then use my brayer. I don't do that on scrapbook paper or heavier tissue paper, but on napkins sometimes I do that just because I don't want to rip it. And now I'm just covering the top with more Mod Podge. For my next fish, I'm going to use this really cute coastal scrapbook paper. I'm just going to Mod Podge it on. Basically the same process, but I don't need to use saran wrap. Cut around the edges, make sure it's nice and secure, use my brayer, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sand the edges and make sure that there's no loose ends. Super, super easy. For this next one, I'm going to use the darker nautical rope and just basically do the same thing I did with the other nautical rope and hot glue it all the way around until the whole thing is covered. It looks so cool, you guys. And then I'm going to use another cute piece of scrapbook paper for this fish. And then on this fish, I'm going to paint. I'm going to use some of the Ocean Color by Waverly. It's chalk paint. And then I'm going to use some of the Crystal. And I'm also going to use a little bit of the Agave. And I'm just going to kind of blend the colors on there until I really like the way it looks. Kind of like an ocean vibe. Moving on to one of the thinner fish, I'm going to use that crystal color and I'm just going to paint over the top of that and around the edges. And then I'm also going to use some white chalk paint and I'm going to go ahead and go all around the edges of this fish. And then on the next one, I'm going to use the apple barrel color warm buff and go all around this one, the edges, the top, and everything. And this is just so cool. You could do anything you want, any colors, any paper, tissue, whatever it is, or rope. And now I'm going to also use that dark nautical rope on this one and put it all the way around the edge with the hot glue, just like I did the rest, except for that it's thinner. Now that all my fish are decorated, I'm going to figure out the positioning and how I want to lay them out. Once I decide that, I'm going to get my hot glue gun out and I'm going to just hot glue every point where they touch one another so that it's nice and secure. And I do go to the back after and reinforce it as well. What's really fun about this is you can arrange them any way you want. You can put them in different directions, whatever you like. You can be super creative and original when you do this. Once this was assembled, I just put a little rope on the back with hot glue and some masking tape over it, and it's ready to go. You guys, I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you make this? It's like a little tile with some, I don't know what mosaic kind of seashell looking things, and it's framed with a wooden frame. So it's like a trivet or a stand or a coaster. And I couldn't get the coaster out, so I just taped around it, and I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum chalked linen white paint, very carefully paint around all of the frame, front and back, and over the back of the tile because it showed the price tag, which was $2. And it looks so nice and clean and fresh now. And then I've got these little rub-on transfers of seashells and sea-like things from the Dollar Tree. And I picked two that were really cute. So I'm gonna take my little scraper and rub this one on. And I had it going over the corners. So then you just gotta be careful, fold it, rub on both sides, and then you can remove it. And that was super easy. It went right on. And I didn't have any problems with this one. Just, I think I saw one little dot that didn't make it, so I scraped it a little bit. And there it is. And then I'm going to put one in the opposing corner, and it's super cute as well. And I just love them. They were the right color for those little tiles, and it just worked out perfectly. And I think this will look really cute in my bedroom, which is a coastal theme. If you've been watching me for a while, you've heard that before. And lately I've been kind of updating and making some new things for my room. So this will be really cute in there. I'm going to hot glue some jute around that tile. Anyway, I'm going to get all the way around the four sides, and that's it for this project. I love it. It was easy, and I hope you like it. These were from Hobby Lobby. They were $2.99, but on clearance. A piece of the longer wood sign with the Seahorse cut out on it, and then a frame from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put the tape on the back of the napkin, rip it apart, and I got this really cool cutting tool. My friend Leonette at DIY Beauty on Purpose mentioned it in a video, and I thought, I need to have that. So anyway, I'll put her link down in the description box, and you can see just how nice this thing cuts. Excuse my table, it was moving a little bit because I was putting way too much pressure. So what I do is I just cut off that top piece where the holes were, and I just sand around the edges and clean them up. And now I've got this cute little piece that I can do something with, where I already used that bottom of it. It was a much longer side. I'm going to take everything out of the frame, and I'm not going to need the glass, so we're just going to put that aside. And then I've got this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to trace the backing of the frame on it and cut it out because I want to put everything on a piece of cardboard. Otherwise, there'll be too much space in the frame because the glass won't be going back. So I'm going to use that little cutter tool again, and it looks how nice it is. It's also got a great little hand grip. Anyway, that should be in my Amazon store. I will make make sure it gets in there in case you guys want to check it out. Anyway, I'm going to lay the napkin right over the top of this cardboard. And again, I'm going to do it in sections. Just lay a very little bit of Mod Podge down, gently rub with my fingers to make sure that it stays. And I'm always rubbing towards the edges. That way, if there's any wrinkles or bubbles, they can be, kind of come out by the time you hit the edge. I am going to put another coat of Mod Podge over the entire thing just to make sure it's all nice and sealed in there. And once it dries, I'm going to take my nail file, go around the edges and clean them up in a downward motion. So there you can see me with the nail file. So now that I've got that done, you can see that it's all finished. And I'm going to take that gold frame. Gold isn't really my thing here, so I'm going to paint it with the Rust-Oleum Linen White chalk paint. And I do want it to look a little bit distressed, and since the gold is underneath, I'll just take the nail file, go around, and let some of that gold show through, and that would be a really cool way to distress it. So that's all done. Now I'm going to place everything back in, including the new piece of cardboard with the napkin on it. I love that napkin. There we are. And now I'm just going to take that Seahorse piece of wood. I'm just going to hot glue it right in the middle. That's how easy this is. And look how cute it's going to turn out. And it will go in my bedroom with all my other coastal things. And actually that napkin matches the mirror that's in there. So I just, not a matchy, but a little bit. Anyway, I love this. And I hope you guys love it too. So I'm curious, what is your favorite decorating style? Let me know down in the comments. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.